Let me play this clip. So I want to get into our first discussion here.
That's what he was showing me a photo of. I turned around, he's at the Resolute, and he goes, look over there. I'm like, oh, and I literally looked and I looked at him. I'm like, okay. I said, third term? He goes, no, fourth. And it was FDR's painting up on the wall. I'm like, here we go. I said, we're perfect little sheep, aren't we? He's laughing because we are. He knows exactly what we're going to do. There's a French, I don't know what I can't say it in French, a poem that loosely says, he pisses on the grasshoppers to hear them sing. And that's Donald Trump.
So do you take that seriously? Do you think he is going to try to stay in office?
What I've noticed, what we all have experienced, I hope we're absorbing in our souls, because we're talking about the soul of America, is I don't think he takes himself seriously, but he iterates, he throws things out and he plays with it and he sees how people react and it manifests, meaning once a mind is stretched, it never goes back to its original form. And that's my concern. The more we're talking about this, and we need to be, what he's doing with mass agents, look what he's doing federalizing the guard, look what he's doing to intimidate and voter suppression, look what he's going to do with the DOJ, look what he's trying to do to rig the elections, North Carolina, Missouri, down there next Florida, not just in Texas. Look what he's doing in terms of the 230 million that apparently is from his DOJ, all the pardoning, all this great grift, the biggest, most corrupt administration in history, not just the $400 million plane, but the $1 billion of your tax money as we're cutting food stamps to pay for the damn plane so he can take that toy home with his foundation when he's 93 or whatever he's done with his fourth or fifth term. I'm deeply concerned about it. And guys like Bannon, they're not screwing around.
I never realized how animated he is with his hands. It's very this, that, this. Like, it's very interesting to watch.
Yeah, he has very precise movements that he uses with particular phrasing, and it's very much, ingrained in his speaking style. So yeah, some people make fun of it, but to me, it's better than.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes. I'm going to play this one, and then we can have a discussion.
Term in order to see that job through.
Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28, Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, but there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. And the way we finish it through Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term, right? And he'll get that in 28.
You're not driving me crazy. I'm really I'm trying to understand the coherence of the things you've just told me in the last few minutes. On the one hand, you've said the Constitution is fit for purpose. Secondly, you've said that President Trump needs another term, even though the 22nd Amendment makes pretty clear that he cannot have another term.
Why does it make that clear?
Because he's on his second term already.
At some point in time, we will make sure we go through Zanny and define all those terms.
But even if you find a way to undermine you will be undermining the spirit of that amendment, even if you find some way around it. And to those
Can the American people, if the American people, with the mechanisms we have, put Trump back in office, are the American people tearing up the Constitution? Would that be tearing up?
Well,
would the American people be going against the spirit of the Constitution, ma'am?
I think yes, actually, because I think what you will end up with is a populist justification for a quasi-dictatorship.
That's not true at all.
That's what it sounds like.
Trump is a dictatorship. Did you just see the compromises he had to make on the big, beautiful bill? You see the compromises he has to do on everything, on accommodating Zelensky, on what President Trump. President Trump is nothing but a series of negotiations to kind of keep this thing rolling forward, where he's having trade-offs all the time.
This is scary shit. First of all, do people realize that only a third of the country voted him in office? a third of the country voted for Kamala, and a third of the country didn't come out. So again, when they go back to this is a mandate, this is what the American people want. No, this is Project 2025 and Christian nationalism they're trying to ram down our throat. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think we can't get scared by the hype. We got to stand up. We got to take one day at a time. Going back to the previous clip with Governor Newsom, the plane story needs to be out there every day in front of everybody's face. When's the last time Epstein has been talked about? I haven't been hearing about that lately. Maybe it's just me, but I think all that stuff needs to be out there every single day to the common people. Most people, I don't think, like what's going on around here. They just don't. They need an alternative. And I believe that including a lot of the Republicans, I think, are very uncomfortable with what's going on right now, but nobody's willing to stand up to them because they don't want to get their life ruined. And that's just it. But we got to remember, at one point, he's going to age out. And, if we'd all just send him Big Macs every day, several times a day, we'd be okay.
I don't know. I'm really concerned about how they're using specific terms to make him make the white nationalists, the Christians, thinking that like he's holy in some ways, a tool of God or Jesus or whatever. He's going to save America so that people will ignore all the things that he's doing. He's an imperfect vessel, whatever he said, so that he can continue to do Project 2025, and people will fight for that. They'll do anything. Even if he does, I believe he is old. His health obviously isn't well, but it's the ideology, the belief that these Christians have. And when he's gone, that will still go on. Any person that comes after him that wants to do the same things that he is currently doing, they'll stand behind. And I think they'll even become violent if that doesn't happen. Like if the Democrats win in the midterms, I think they're going to get more violent. That's how I feel.
Well, I don't think there's any inkling that he thinks he's leaving the White House. I mean, he said it all through his campaign. This is going to be the last time he'll ever have to vote. He's building his ballroom. He's not doing things like he's renting the place or he's staying there for a short time. So, I mean, I think there is going to be a fight. It is going to come to something. I mean, I don't know what that's going to look like, though. I just don't know.
Yeah, it's just the tying of him and religion. That's scary.
Right. And you're right, Marley. The way that Steve Bannon is justifying that he's an imperfect vessel. And we know that, but every religion is going to forgive him for that because he is at the right hand of God or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Can we consider the Antichrist an imperfect vessel? Because that's what he freaking is.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
The whole thing was disgusting. Like Steve Bannon is gross.
I hate him.
He's so gross. He could not be further up that man's ass. And I've had my fill with Trump this week more than most weeks. I don't want to see the man's face anymore. I see him. I'm back to the point where I see him on TV and I just want to throw things. And I have to remind myself not to let evil into my heart and wish bad things on people, but I just want the man gone.
Well, Steve Bannon turned on him at one point too. Don't forget, Keisha. They had a falling out, which they usually all do.
What is Bannon's background? I mean, I know he's been around for a while and I can't take the man, but what is his background? I mean,
he's an intellect, actually. I believe he went to Harvard. We can look him up.
Oh my God.
Supposedly a really smart guy. But I think I'm gonna push back a little bit on Keisha on him being up Trump's you know what. I think they are using Trump.
Yeah.
Right. Oh. They are, like he said, he's the vehicle, he's the vessel, he's how they get their agenda through. So I think they tolerate him because he has this following and they've put him on this odd kind of pedestal in the religious world, but these are Christian nationalists. These are not, to me, Christians.
True.
No.
Right.
No.
And I'm more of a spiritual, not religious category anyway. This is more, and I've read a lot of the Bible. This is more Antichrist territory than it is anything else. The false prophet, the false religion, all those things that have been talked about.
Well, that's their shield. Religion is their shield. Religion is their, that's their safe space. They go back to religion. They compare themselves to God, and people believe it because they want to believe it because they have so little, and the so little they have, they're giving up to Trump. I drove through some really, really, really depressed areas of West Virginia one time, driving out to Kentucky. And I don't know if you've ever been there, but I mean, literally these shacks in the mountains. I don't think it was in Appalachia, but the shacks with Trump signs. And these people, they have tarps on their roofs and, broken windows, and they're sitting on their porches, yet they have Trump signs. Darn well they gave their last $5 to Trump or bought his paraphernalia or his hats or whatever. And because they have, no matter what the Republican Party has done, including what's his face who was shot, Kirk, they've given these people a false hope or something, some kind of leadership, even though it's like an empty suit. They've succeeded at that. And where are the Democrats? Where are we? Where are they? Where are the independents? Where are they fighting against this and educating these people on what's really happening?
I don't know. I don't think that they really care about what's happening. I think that Trump or MAGA is all about blaming others for the fact that they're poor. I wouldn't be in this situation if there weren't immigrants coming over the border. I wouldn't be in this situation if there weren't such things as DEI and, what used to be affirmative action.
Right.
They understand what these people are feeling internally. They're not looking for solutions. They're just looking for anyone who's going to make them feel better and be like, oh, this is only happening because of these people.
You're right. They're looking for a common enemy.
Yeah, it goes back to what we were talking about last week with fascism and how Trump is basically a cult leader. And the way that he does it is by uniting people against a big bad. And it's so obvious to the rest of us. But if you're in it, I guess you're just in such a delusional state that you just can't see it because you feel good, like Marley said.
Absolutely. And that's the psychological hook that's in there that people can't escape from, which is hard. But going back to the question of Bannon's background, he was born in Norfolk, Virginia in 1953. He grew up Irish Catholic. His education he went to a Catholic military prep school. So he has a bachelor's in urban affairs from Virginia Polytech. He has a master's in national security studies from Georgetown. He has an MBA from Harvard. So this is an educated man.
And he's using it for evil.
Yeah, he's very evil. Yeah.
I'm always curious where in his life did this detour happen? I mean, he served in the Navy. Trying to find.
Sometimes they're raised that way too. Look at Donald Trump. He was pretty much raised a racist.
Yeah, he was.
Absolutely. I don't spend a lot of time on that. I want to play one more clip of his. I know it's hard to watch him, but this one was he's talking about seizing of America's institutions. And I just want to play a short little snippet because this is interesting. I think it's important to listen to Bannon because this is the background of this whole movement, right? It helps us understand and get into the mindset of these people and what the hell they're planning for this country.
What has happened in history to calm things down rather
than calm things down at all, to warn people. Do you think if we calm things down, they're going to stop? What planet are you living on? This is my problem with this whole concept of liberal debate. We're in a revolutionary time, both technologically, geopolitically, right? Financially. You're talking, in this magazine, you tell me we're heading to financial Armageddon. There's no other way you can
So
read
you
this.
don't
Hang
think
on. If you're
anything
not,
is achieved by
if you
us
don't warn
talking?
people about it and say, we must go to the ramparts, because if you're just passive and docile and just flick the channel and watch the National Football League and go to Taylor Swift concerts, it's over. You need to rally people to say, no, you represent from time immemorial, from every patriot's grave back to the beginning, the basic working man and woman that has always saved this country in moments of crisis, in the Revolution, in the Civil War, in the Great Depression, World War II. It's always come back to the little guy. This is the fourth turning. The strength of the populist nationalist MAGA movement in this country is we're anti-fragile. We're resilient. You can give us your best shot. You can put us in prison. You can take our credit cards away. You can debank us. You can deplatform us. You can have all the tech stuff that happened. We can't be beaten if we don't quit. And if that takes hot rhetoric, you ain't seen nothing yet, because we're now getting into the middle of this fight, and we're never gonna kowtow to these people. We're never gonna get on our knees to these people. We're never gonna apologize. We're never gonna say we're sorry. All we care about is victory begets victory begets victory, and we know that we're ascendant and they're in decline.
So, Steve, when you look at history and you map the lessons of history onto the situation today, the crisis we're in today, is it your belief that the only way through this crisis is through some sort of conflagration? And if so, do you think your role is to accelerate that, to bring it out so that it happens fast and you come out on the other side better and faster? Or is it to stop? Is it to stop the crisis? Is it a belief that actually, you know what, we can work to stop the crisis, and actually change is better brought about through evolution rather than revolution?
This was not evolution. I think that to avoid actual civil conflict, which I think you're seeing right now, the beginning of the harbinger of it, if you want to stop that, you have to bind together tighter. We, as a populist nationalist movement, as a MAGA movement, we need to do like the redistricting fights. We need to get, this is why I was down in Texas, we need to get the House in a situation that is permanently defendable by the MAGA movement, right? So it's a blocking mechanism. And take that, like I said, you move a maximalist strategy with a sense of urgency, and you seize the institutions. And that's what we're doing right
Steve,
now.
I don't see how that is a recipe for diffusing this crisis. I think that what happens is when people feel shut out of power and interest groups cannot get representation and cannot get an input into the way that policy is made, that's precisely when you end up with civil war.
I disagree.
Because there is no alternative.
Because I think the mechanism will be that people in the Democratic Party will adjust and change, say, hey, we actually have to start winning elections, and we have to have a message that can resonate with many Americans, that we can start getting back control of the House of Representatives, we can take the Senate, and most importantly, we can take the presidency. I think you'll see I think that you'll force the Civil War to be inside of those guys, and they'll say, these radicals are saying violence, and we have to seize the institutions, seize them, and then purge them. We seize the institution, purge them, and that's why you've got guys, it's not the Doge crap. This is serious people like Russ Vought and others that have spent years thinking this whole plan through. We must strike, and we must strike now. I know all the haters hate it, but this is the age of Trump. He's totally redefined politics and power in America. And how did he do that? With no political training, because he was a populist and he was a nationalist at the very moment that if you didn't have populist nationalism stopped the managed decline of the country by the elites of the nation.
And does he need
Okay. Yeah.
I vomited in my mouth several times.
I know. Trying to think of him.
Isn't that the definition of fascism?
Yeah. I feel like he was saying that Trump's a puppet, or politically, we're hoping that Democrats bend the knee. We're going to rig the elections to make sure that we win. If we don't win, there's going to be a civil war. He was calling all of his supporters
Correct.
to violence.
Correct.
Things don't go their way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why it's important we hear and listen to what this man is saying, because this is their plan.
I must say that the hosts and both hosts, they were not happy with it. And I was very pleasantly surprised to watch them push back. And they pushed back gingerly, but they pushed back because they were standing up for for themselves, not even for anyone else. It's really for themselves. But it was pleasantly surprising to watch them push back on the BS that was spewing from Big Belly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
It's a pity that his stomach can't attack him, but I digressed.
I can't believe people take him seriously. I mean, he's another one who looks like he's a breath away from dropping dead. He looks like he slept in his car last night after a bender. I'm sorry.
Could you imagine? No. I'm glad you went there. Could you imagine how he smelled?
He looks so gross. Like he's sweaty and like. Ugh.
But they talk about Zelensky coming right out of war and wearing his clothes, and then this dirtbag is at one point part of a cabinet of the United States and dressing like that and looking like that, and ugh. I mean,
and I'm sorry I had to start talking about him, but there's nothing else you can do with that. You know, he's just a fat bastard that it seems like he takes everything. Nothing he can cultivate. He just takes it, you know?
Well, it's kind of like, you know, it's you remember the old saying that those who can't do teach? Well, it's almost like he got all this education and he didn't know what to use for it, but he never really accomplished anything in life. So he's taking. So, you know, there's $1 million I can steal from the wall front. These are the people I fund. These are the people I can convince that I'm something. Because again, yes, he has the education, kid, but what has he really done with it?
Well, and my question too is, what happened? Who wronged him? Or when did he turn into this bitter person that thinks the way to run the country is to take it over, put a dictator with dementia in the White House, and force everybody to live the way they think we should all live?
Kim, usually men like that are men that's hiding something. There's something that's deep in the closet with him that he is hiding. And I would not like to pull up those skeleton bones. He can die with it. However, usually they're hiding something behind that facade. And it is a false front. And whatever that hurt is, whether it's from his mom, his family, it is deeply ingrained. And that's how they like to think that they have power, because they don't really have it.
Yeah, I agree, Jazzy. Yeah. And August and then Jazzy.
Yeah.
He had to have been rejected. That's kind of my point. But so if we listen to what he has said, what do you think is the psychological effect? What is he trying to do? Because you said, like you said, Keisha, he's very cunning.
I think he's trying to prove to whoever wronged him, whether it was on the campuses that they shunned him or he sat alone at the cafeteria in high school or whatever the heck it was, he's trying to come off as this powerful person that I can take this country down and I can reshape the country now. But again, I'd have to do a deeper dive into what he really did with his adult life before he went into Trump's administration. Wasn't he just a podcaster or something?
Well, he does have Breitbart, but he, you know, like I said, I don't know what his business background is, what he did before. I didn't dig into that. But it's just, to me, it's this hypocrisy. The one thing he does say, and we've all admitted this, I mean, the system isn't working for everybody. We've talked about that. We agree with that there needs to be a shift in that. We all agree. But authoritarianism, dictatorship is not the answer. It's what they think the answer is. So another question is, why do you think authoritarian figures use kind of this inevitability, right? Like he's saying, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. So just get used to it.
Because that's how he wants to ride out his days, in a golden palace, being immune from anything he wants to do. And he wants to be able to go right back to the island and do whatever the heck they were doing and have complete immunity. And he's our age to a lot of us on the panel here, and he's looking at the last quarter of his life and saying, you know, what the hell? I could just throw it all up in the air and I'm just going to be self-serving. And I think that's what they're all doing.
I think he's trying to desensitize us to what he wants to happen. The more he says this, the more he says that Trump is going to have a
Ding,
third term,
ding.
or
You're
that
nailing
he's
it.
become president, the more we become used to it and it starts just to become a normal thing.
You're nailing it, Keisha.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah.
Was he ever married, or does he have children or anything?
Would you want to even deal with that?
No.
Okay, I wouldn't put that on any woman out there, nor man. Okay, nor man.
Look
Since
at Stephen
Andrea's
Miller.
not here, I'm taking over.
Stephen
the
Miller is
post.
a
Right.
Stephen Miller is a disgusting twerp, and he's got a wife.
Ugh.
No, keyword. Stephen Miller
So does
had a
Trump.
wife. Even
Well,
she flipped off Miller and
Um,
went to Elon Musk. Okay, come on, let's just
But
keep it.
he was raised Roman Catholic, and everything he's doing is definitely against Catholicism. A lot of Catholicism. I mean, there's a lot of hate in Catholicism,
right.
but at the core of Catholicism, it is, love thy neighbor and help the needy and help the poor and that kind of stuff. And they're certainly not giving a damn about the poor or the needy or anything.
Well,
Was it-
religion is usually to promote war.
Yeah. No.
So
That's most of the wars have been fought over is religion. I mean, that's what we know of history. But the hypocrisy about the working class people and the people who didn't have what these elite groups have, it's like, I'm sorry, what are you doing now? You're not doing anything for the working class now, except for maybe put in a dictator to tell everybody how to live. The other thing is the parallels. Aren't there parallels between what we're seeing now and the propaganda during the Hitler rise? Right?
yeah,
I mean,
playbook.
yeah.
Yeah.
We keep making those parallels, but people don't seem to, I don't know, just doesn't seem to click. But it's definitely there's a huge psychological aspect to this. And when we look at propaganda and we look at disinformation, it is the repetition. You repeat it, you repeat it, you repeat it ad nauseum. You repeat it, and then people just start to go, okay, well, I guess it must be true.
The 8 wars. He stuck 8 wars. Can anybody name the 8 wars?
And he passed this. He got 100% on his IQ test.
Come on, Jim. He can't even name one that he have done. So,
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Delusional.
The Battle of the Bulge, and that's his own bulge and his people. It's a big ball of cholesterol, and we got to get rid
Do
of
you
him.
really think that the doctor sat down there and did an IQ test on him? He asked them not to. Probably, could you reframe? I don't have time to take the test. It's all lies. It's propaganda. It's BS. He continues with the crap.
Well,
I
that's
don't
because
even believe he took any tests.
I think he
some
took
of
the
the answers.
cognitive to make sure he didn't have dementia.
Because
I
you're
don't
all
think
low
he took
IQ
I
on this
really
panel. I know the difference between an elephant and giraffe. Do you?
I don't think
Even
he does.
Mary Trump made the comment. I'm sorry, but now she's a psychologist. Why are they giving my uncle so many dementia tests?
Okay.
I mean, there's something here. Before we leave,
That's how he reflects, though. He does reflect like that. He would say he's taking a dementia test, and it could be an MRI. It could be something else. He calls everything a test.
100% on an MRI.
Yeah. Well, he didn't spell MRI. He spelled MRI. Maybe that was it. But it begs the question: what did he go for an MRI for? MRI is a serious
That's the
test.
second one.
It's not.
Yeah.
Because he's sick.
Yeah, there's something going on there. There has to be. You don't just get MRIs to get an MRI.
Your eyes
What?
aren't lying
Yeah.
when you see him walking and talking. So
Oh, yeah.
see those
Yeah.
cankles.
Exactly. Jazzy, I want to go back to Jazzy. I think he was referring to her as his, was it the second wife? Yeah, I don't think he thought it was Melania. I think he thought it was the second wife, but he did do that. It's like,
Marla
oh yeah,
Maples.
that's my
Yeah,
Marla
Marla
Maples.
Maples.
Yeah, I think it was Marla Maples.
Yeah.
But yeah, great point, Jazzy. It's like he did. Like, I don't know. Okay, one more on this. Well, the subjects kind of, as they all do, they run into each other. But I just want to play a little bit of this from the law standpoint. But you also know that they don't give a shit about the law. But
you say the Constitution is only as strong as the institutions, Congress, the states, the courts are willing to enforce them. And one of the reasons why we need to make sure that we have Democrats in control of the House and Senate in 2026 and then in 2028 is because ultimately it's Congress that certifies elections, right, for president. And the difference between having Republicans and Democrats is the difference between the Republicans saying we don't care about the Constitution or Democrats are. Now, look, there'll be a lot of legal challenges to him being on the ballot, right? Him being able to even be on the ballot if he's in violation of the Constitution. But let's be clear, when that was tried before, with under the 14th Amendment and the insurrection clause, the Supreme Court basically stripped the states of the power to interpret the Constitution as a barrier to entry to be on the ballot. And so you already see the gamesmanship that's going to go on there. And it doesn't mean that we're not going to fight it. It doesn't mean that we may not even win in court. But if you ask me what Steve Bannon thinks that he will be able to just blow through and through simply ignoring and bulldozing and popular threat and uprising and insurrection, that he'll be able to get there. And we just need to not over-intellectualize what the other side is up to.
I just wanted to play that one point because that's the arrogance we're up against.
But what's in it for the Supreme Court to roll over? I mean, honestly, if it's a dictatorship, aren't they basically out of a job?
I think they should be.
Yeah.
They're not upholding their oath of office. Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Marley.
The Supreme Court's what's in it for them. The majority believe in what MAGA wants to do. They believe in Project 2025. They believe in the America that Trump administration is promising everybody. That's what's in it for them.
At least the majority do, right?
Yeah, the majority. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Well,
do you ever think to yourself, are we missing something here? Like, what are we missing?
What do you mean?
Like, sometimes you think, like, what are all these people seeing that we're not seeing?
We ain't missing a damn thing. They're the ones blinded.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But I think it's a fair question to ask. Jim.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you ever just sit and wonder when you're, sometimes when I'm driving by myself in the car, I'm like thinking, what is everybody thinking? Like, what are they thinking? I just don't.
It's part of the gaslighting. It is designed to make you feel crazy. It's part of what Steve Bannon's been saying about flooding the zone. Every day it's some bullshit, and they have us questioning our own sanity because of it.
Just like
what the hell do these billionaires need more? The bottom line is, if we do become a dictatorship or fascist or whatever, there's going to be less and less power for all of them because the power is going to one person.
You got to remember as well, Jim, that a third of it is because they're seeing their race being depleted. Another part of it is that they're seeing their kids are not from the old regiment and they're trying to bring them back. That's why they employed Charlie Kirk to do the brainwashing to these young men. And the other third of it is that they want power, but they realizing that they can't go about it the old way. It's not working because people of color and also their own are not standing for it. They're really realizing it now.
Exactly, August.
And it's really getting them. And they know if they start with that revolution, they don't know what these people have. These young people are locked and loaded and ready. That's the scary part of it.
But whose side are they on?